an interesting topic, and obviously one that's very important in your particular role is security. We hear a lot of talk about the hackers and the hacktivists and everybody. Obviously, I'm sure you guys deal with this all the time, as does everybody. I'm curious, I guess, how your approach to the your response to the stuff that's been happening recently, and certainly the perception that there's a bigger threat. How has that changed your approach and I guess your interactions across the organization?
So I think in reflect on security. I mean, security has been something I've probably worried about in a number of jobs over the last few years. So as a CIO perspective and a senior IT person, security's been a challenge for a number of years. I think going back when I first thought about it, the first time we started dealing with it was back in 1998, I think, in my Shell days, and it's been a theme throughout my career ever since. I think what we've seen recently just is highlighted in a much more public way. The important part of a CIO's role and senior IT person's role is to understand the security posture, the security threats, and how you're going to mitigate those and what you're willing to accept. I think that just brings it very much into the public domain. I think most of us over the years have been very aware of that. Very cognizant of some of the issues we have to face, very cognizant of some of the things we need to be able to do. So I think it's just made it more higher profile. If I think about good practice and other things, one of the things we do from a defence perspective is the Australian Signals Directorate have their documents they publish around good practice. They have the top 4 mitigants around information security that will mitigate 85% of the risk. We take our own medicine, obviously, but we work very closely with the Signals Directorate, which is part of the Defence Organisation, around how do we actually improve our posture and how do we manage it. So, absolutely important part of my day-to-day life, and something I have to deal with.
Do you see that because of the stature of defence and obviously the ASD, as you're saying, has the ability to kind of set these standards and guidelines for the rest of the government? Is that a role that... So
certainly the Australian Signals Directorate do set the guidelines for the rest of the government. They are seen as they set the information security framework for the whole of government, and they work with most departments in helping them to understand their security position and make sure they do audits and other things to help us to make sure we have the appropriate and right controls in place, and we're no different. We work with them very closely. I talk to my colleagues in ASD pretty regularly, at least if not weekly, every second week we're having discussions around what are we doing. So it's a very close relationship. It's an important part of what we need to do. And I think as I go back to the last question, it's really just highlighted some of the things that we're seeing now, highlighting the importance of security and being able to manage that and manage it proactively.
Very much so. Very recently we had new privacy legislation come in place, which obviously affects every organisation in Australia, private and public. Was that a big thing in defence? I mean, certainly you had the structures in place. Did that change much in terms of...
No, it wasn't a massive impulse. We were in reasonably good shape, if that's the right way to put it. So, yes, we had the legislation. It didn't cause a big impulse in anything that we had to do. So I think we were in a good position as that came in, just to adopt and comply with the new legislation.